One. Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to be talking about the effects of screen addiction, which is a relatively new phenomenon in society regarding our relationship with technology and the time we spend on it. Now, some of you may be wondering, what is screen addiction? And just like any other type of addiction you may fall into, it is the compulsive use of technology to the utter detriment of both health and productivity. Now, this isn't something like drug usage or overeating. It's primarily behavioral and psychological. It's not diagnosed by any clinical criteria yet. But like all addictions, it's associated with three primary stages: cravings, tolerance, and withdrawal. Cravings, most obviously, are defined by these sudden urges to associate with an electronic device such as your television, your computer, or a video game of some sort. And this extends into tolerance through just the gradual increment of time spent on these devices. So what may have one day have been 30 minutes will eventually escalate further and further until suddenly you're spending 6 to 8 hours on your devices each day. Almost as much time as you're sleeping, really. And then this piggybacking off of that, we get withdrawal, which is when you're removed from these devices, you start to get a lot of negative emotions at onset: agitation, twitchiness, aggravation, just a lot of overall feelings of want and anger once you're taken away from your device. So you're probably wondering what some examples of screen addiction would be in your everyday household. And so two of the most common really are excessive video game usage and rampant social media use, especially among preteens. And this can also factor into constant texting, pornography, if you're one of those people, and then, of course, online gambling.
Now that we have a definition for screen addiction, what it is, let's talk about some statistics on it. So the average American spends about 24 hours in front of a screen per week. Now, there's 168 hours in a week. So, doing some simple math, about 14% of an average American's time is spent on a screen. 14% just on a screen on average. Kids, by comparison, spend an average of 1,314 hours in front of screens per year, which is obviously a significant number. It's a significant portion of their time. Between 9.7 to 41% of undergraduate students in college, adults, are reported as being addicted to social media. Now, it's important to note here that specific constitutions, what constitutes screen addiction, is disputed. It's still being decided upon because it's such a new phenomenon. We have a definition, obviously it's a addiction to screens, but where the line is drawn between normal usage, heavy usage, and addiction is still disputed. So that is why you will find these large disparities in numbers. It's also important to note that the effects of screen addiction are pronounced. Even regular exposure can cause gray matter to atrophy. Gray matter, of course, is your brain's meat and potatoes, as it were. It is what decides how much cognitive ability you have. The more gray matter in general, the smarter you are. And excessive screen use causes it to atrophy. It causes your intelligence to go down. Even mundane side effects can occur, barring the serious ones, which is range from dry eyes, nearsightedness, migraines, dehydration, sensitivity to light, a smattering of mundane, simple side effects just from using screens. The WHO, the World Health Organization, has also classified video game addiction as a mental disorder. This is a very recent development and one that is still disputed. And again, the prevalence is disputed because of the fact that we are still trying to draw the lines of where is what. The numbers range from 0.8% of gamers to upwards of 50%. So, what can you do? As with any addiction, fighting it starts with yourself. So, first thing you can do is take advantage of natural exit points. Exit points are areas in a piece of software where you can exit, you can take a break. It's a natural area where you can take a step back and say, okay, I've finished X activity. I'm going to go and do this now. It's a natural part of good design in most cases. However, some applications don't do this. There are advantages to not having exit points, which is to keep you hooked for as long as possible. If the developers haven't added any, make your own. I'm going to scroll past this many articles and then I'm going to go. Be conscious of the time that you spend on a screen and how you spend it. What are you doing? Are you doing varied activities? Are you just doing one? Are you doing something important? Are you just mindlessly scrolling? And if that time is excessive and if it's not conscious, cut it down. In addition, designate no tech spaces and times. So family dinners, family gatherings, before bed, especially because screens can interfere with your sleep. And there are many other approaches to this as well. Ultimately, it is up to you to figure out what best works for you and how screens fit into your life.
Now, even though screen addiction is something that can happen to you, it isn't just you, your own problem that's causing it. Instagram and a lot of the social media companies and these app designers are making the app that heightens your ability to get addicted to these apps so easily. And so the major question is, why is the app addictive? Well, right off the bat, the app is free on major app stores, and for most social media apps, they're free to buy for pretty much any phone. So do you feel like you think to yourself, there's really no cost. The money comes from the advertisements for the app, so they don't need anything from you. So you just realize, what is the pros and cons to even doing this? Because without having to pay for anything, there's really no hurt to get downloading anything, because if you don't like it, you can just delete it. In addition, endless scrolling. As Josh talked about before, we have this constant need to, we want to end something in a natural way. And so you want to have these exit points. Well, these social media apps want to eliminate those exit points. So they have this endless scrolling, that ability that you don't have reach a natural end. They continually add pictures that they think you would like to the bottom of each one, and they just continue to have a list of which ongoing pictures, so you can never reach an end. And so it is very hard for you to stop naturally, because you don't reach to an end point like you do when you finish a book or anything like that. In addition, with the refresh button, it's more like a lottery slot machine. When you swipe down it, you see the little circles start going, a little buffer, and you want to see the new pictures. We want to see something new. We want to see something exciting, just like with the lottery slot machine. You want to see 3 images that appear and you win. Like, it's a very similar effect when you have it on Instagram app. And finally, with the like button and notifications, this is almost like a dopamine effect. You get a like, you get a notification right away, or someone you follow, you might get a notification they posted, and you immediately jump on the app. When you like something, you want to get that validation from others that they also liked your photo, and you want to see that number get super high. And with notifications, you just want to see what happened. Why'd you get a notification? What'd that post look like? And so that kind of stuff gets you right back on the app and gets you to go like spend a lot of hours on time and get screen addicted very easily. But why does Instagram and these social media apps do this? Well, that's because they get paid through the advertisements, which happens the longer you stay on the app. So, for example, every time you click on an advertisement, Instagram gets paid between 20 cents and $2. And then every 1,000 people that might see that advertisement, they'll get paid $6.70. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but Instagram made $20 billion in ad revenue in 2019 alone. And so this build up, and they want people to stay on the app longer, because the longer you stay on the app, the more ads you see, the more ads you might click. And with that, that will cause you as a person to make Instagram a lot more money. And it's shown that they've made a tremendous amount of money just from the ad revenues. And now you might think of, what would an app really look like without having these social addictive strategies implemented? And you'll get a kind of a screen like this. The refresh button is just a button you click. You don't get that effect of waiting to see what the brand new screen looks like. It's just a button you click, rather than having that swipe down effect similar to a slot machine. In addition, the scroll bar is eliminated the infinite page. It eliminated you from having no natural end to what you're looking at. And so with the scroll bar, you'll hit an end, and so you can decide if you really wanted to look at more. But most people then at that point would realize that they should stop and go back to doing what they were doing before. And then, like we said before, it being free off the bat is something that makes a lot of people want to download the app immediately, because there's no cost to you. Well, having a 99-cent version that allows you to have premium features makes people second guess whether is it worth buying. And so a lot less people would buy the app and be so addicted to what it shows on the app. And then finally, the no likes or comments eliminates people from getting sucked in, and people liking something and needing that validation or waiting for notifications. And so this eliminates that social aspect and eliminates you from needing that validation from others every time you post a picture.
So, very obviously, it's clear that screen addiction is, in fact, a serious problem as of recent. And there are steps that you can take yourself to help curb it in your own household. We hope that this presentation has both been informative and helpful to you and your relationship with technology.